Do you want to learn how to start a fishing hobby? That's what we're going to learn today at fishingnetwork.com with me, Dwight Norris. Now, the important thing about having a fishing hobby is that you have a hobby in general. Maybe you're bored, maybe you're getting a little older, or you're just looking for something to do that isn't Netflix or the TV or the another b-ball game or football game or hockey game or baseball game or whatever else. You need something that will maybe get you outside, maybe get the heart pumping, get you a little healthier, and unbeknownst, fishing has a benefit as well. It pleases the mind. It's very relaxing. And when you get older in life, it becomes even better that you're able to relax because you've worked so freaking hard. Don't you deserve to relax? Well, I'm not that old, but I still like relaxing just like anybody else. So, what do you need to do to do a fishing, to do fishing as a hobby? One of those things is fishing gear. And I have a assortment down here, which I can show you. It's quite simple, it's cheap, you can get it locally. There's your regular fishing stores, which you should support, and you can get high quality gear there, high quality bait, high quality lures, and high quality information. So please go to your local fishing store and ask them what's up with the fishing, where the fishing is best done for whatever type of fish that you want to do. Maybe you don't care what kind of fish that you catch, and maybe you should just find someplace that's close to you, preferably someplace you can go to while you're at work. That's why I have this website, this business called Fishing at Work. So I want to let everybody know that it is a possibility to do this while you are on your 9 to 5 and maybe you have a family, maybe you have other obligations and you want to go fishing as well, but you can't do it like you used to when you were a kid, and you can't wait until you're 65 or whatever number that they're coming up with now until you can retire, which may be never. It all depends on what you've done. But today is a day where you can take action on your dreams and make it happen. So I'm going to help you do that. So one of the first things you need is a rod and reel. For Fishing at Work, we promote telescoping or collapsible rods. They pull out like this. I'm sure you can see this. And it has I don't know how to really size the, this is a spinning reel. I'm going to guess that you have fished before, but you haven't done it as a hobby. Maybe once or twice. Maybe you learned a little bit about casting, reeling, how to hook. I will be making subsequent videos on that just for you. They won't be complete beginner like guides, but for most people that are watching this channel, they will be. And if you don't want to watch it, cool. But there are some people out there that want to get into the sport, and I want to facilitate that. So these pull out a certain distance and then they lock. So they get bigger over this section and then they progressively get longer. This one's about, what is it, 6 feet, which is a good length for just about any local fish that you can find in a river or your local pond or a lake. I'm talking, I wouldn't want to catch anything over 10 pounds with this because it would probably break it. But anything below that is some fun fishing, and it snaps down, so you can put this in a very tight space, put it in your little bag, put it in the back of your car, and whatever. You can have your lures with you too, and it's a very small space. You don't have to let fishing take over your life. A hobby shouldn't do that unless you want it to. So you can remain discreet while you do your little thing, and you get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. That is the goal. You also will need lures. If you go to my other video, which you will probably see at the end, maybe I'll put a little card up here, which you can link to, there's a video about using live bait, and I promote a bait seller who sells online. There are many of them. You can go anywhere, go to Amazon, you can go to eBay, I believe, and you can buy your worms online. This is only if you don't have anywhere local to you. The price is comparable, and so is the quality. So, if you are near a bait seller, go over there and see what they have. They have a lot of things. They have not just worms, they have minnows, they have different types of minnows, they have different types of worms, they have grubs, they have crickets. They maybe if you're near the ocean, they have eels and menhaden, or who knows, maybe even if you're down in Florida, maybe you can even buy golden shiners. There's actually golden shiners here in Boston too. Not too many people know that, but they're here and they're in the Charles River. So stay alert. There are all types of fish, including herring. Herring's a big thing here. Same kind, I believe it's the same kind you can eat. You're not allowed to harvest them just because of that reason. If you want to step up a little bit, a little bigger, this is a 6.5 foot rod. It's only a 2-piece, and you'll see a lot of rods like this. You'll see ones that are just one solid rod, and those are if you don't have space and you're not like trying to be discreet, you don't have to worry about that stuff because you drive to work and you can put this in your car. You can go as big as you want to, as long as it fits in the car, that's cool. But if you're using public transportation, you want something like the other one. But otherwise, you can step it up to a bigger game. So for freshwater fishing, this will pretty much handle anything up to 25 or so pounds, probably up to 40 if you really get some skills and know how to properly let the drag out of your line, which is another feature of spinning and bait casting reels. I didn't bring the bait caster over here, but I'll show you one on the website. That takes, I believe, a little more skill to do because it's easier to get what's called a bird's nest when you cast there because you need to properly place your thumb on the reel on the spool this way. It actually casts the line out straight out, and if you don't feather the line while it goes out, just barely, the line will go faster than the lure that's pulling it, and then it'll start to unravel in the spool, and then next thing you know, you have like 30 knots, and it's almost impossible to get it out. With spinning reel, most of the time it'll just fall off. You'll have some loose line here. It might get wrapped up around here, but usually you can find your way out of it. It's not too bad. And if you just cast like this and you always feather the line right before the weight hits the water, you can gain control of that line drag. It's a technique you learn when you're casting. Over a period of time, you'll get to experience that if you're new to fishing. But really, there's nothing better than getting out there and doing it. And that's what I really promote with Fishing Network. I have a bunch of tips, a bunch of tricks, a bunch of techniques, mental things you need to do, things you need to do on Excel spreadsheets, dealing with time management, dealing with co-workers and bosses, and what you want to do if you're fishing, what type of fishing, live bait, lures, types of things with your gear, what kind of stuff you want to do, even if you want to use a boat during your lunch hour, or what are you going to do if you want to take a fish home, like when there's a herring run here and you can go out physically, catch a striped bass, might be 30 pounds. How you can properly store that, freeze it at your work, and then bring it home safely so you can cook it. Excuse me. Now, if you're near the ocean, and really the ocean's the only place for you to fish, which I did run into somebody on a previous video, go to the Palm Beach Shores fishing video. You can just search that, or you can go down to the down below. I have some playlists on different things, and one of them is called Beach Fishing, and near the beginning of those will be that Palm Shores one. It's pretty long, but if you go through about 15 to 17 minutes, you'll see me interacting with a person who's actually fishing at work and does it regularly at Palm Beach. And he uses basically that, lure, that rod and reel combo that I had right there, and he's fishing for barracuda. But you can also fish for much bigger fish if you have a little more time during the shore. If you go down to the beach, preferably in Florida, you'll see one of these behemoths here. It's called a surf rod. This one in particular is 10 feet long. You can cast very far. You want to get your feet wet up to your knees or maybe even your waist. But most of the time you'll find that the fish are actually in that first wave that breaks from the ocean where it's flat, and then you see that first breaker. That's where the fish are going to be at, all the way to the last major wave. Like if you want to catch that first surf for your kids and you're in a boogie board and you catch that first wave that brings you into shore, that's probably the end of the fish. So in between the first one and the second one, but maybe if you only have one, it'll be in that area and just behind it. You don't need to cast too far to find the fish. They're usually right where you're swimming. And you won't even notice until you actually look at a wave and see fish going through it. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it has a nice big, this is an Okuma reel. Costs like, what was it, 80 bucks. I had originally the Shakespeare reel. It lasted a little while. I caught some tautog, I caught some flounder, and I caught a lobster. Let it go. Can't believe it wouldn't. Lobster was relentless. It would not let go of my clam. But after a couple of tautogs, that reel just snapped. The handle. I have a real big problem with handles, as you've seen. I have at least 3 videos. I only have 120, and in 3 of them, the handle of my spinning reel breaks off. 2 of them are on the cheap reels, so no big deal. But my Abu Garcia didn't break, but the inner mechanism is acting weird. So I have a feeling that maybe I fight a little too hard with the reel handle instead of using the drag. So maybe even I have some room for improvement. So no, everybody's really learning. We learn forever. As a fisherman, you're learning every day you go out in the water, and that's a good reason you want to do some research and actually keep a log of what you're doing, especially when you're doing it as a hobby, because you want to learn as fast as possible. You want to have fun. You can almost make sure that happens if you fish with live bait. So let me show you another cool thing. Is alright here. I got a. Now I can't find it. It's a fisherman's journal. I haven't wrote anything in there yet because last 2 times I went, I got skunked because the ice was too thick, and I apparently am not an ice fisherman. But got this for my birthday, which is fantastic, and I'm going to use it very shortly. And it has great information in there for you to store, especially if you're fishing as a hobby or you're a beginner fisherman. And you'll see all these different things here. You can stop the video and take a look at all this cool stuff, or maybe go look for this online. I believe you can find it at Amazon. And this one in particular is made by Journals Unlimited. Tells you what you're fishing for, the location, the date, day and time, the weather and temperature, where you're fishing from, GPS if you have that, water depth, fishing reports if you looked at fishing reports, which is a good thing, especially if you're fishing saltwater, who you were fishing with, because you know, hey, I had some luck when I fished with my son. When I fished by myself at the same spot the next day, nothing. Something to think about. The type of fishing bait and lures you use, maybe a special tackle rig, that Ned rig I keep hearing about over and over and over again. Yet I haven't used it. That's on my list. And a bunch of other stuff. So I'll just show you a few lures if you don't have any. I have this very small tackle bag. It holds 2, I think these are medium-sized Plano boxes. I have my, always bring your license with you. And just in case I catch a big one and I don't know what to do, I used to have a little setup where I just run a little plastic bag. It's trash bag, you know. Big striper might come in and you need to be prepared. But I have some better stuff I'm going to get, but I haven't got yet. This is the backup. If all else happens and I have to get that striper, then that's what's going to happen. And if you don't bring your stuff, you know, bring a little cash with you. You never know when you'll need it. I was actually looking for this cash yesterday. I need to use it. I forgot it was there. And you need a nice little setup of weights because we have a lot of rigs for the live bait. Honestly, for saltwater fishing, I don't think you'll need anything over 4 ounces. See the 4 there? Most of the time, you're going to be using 1 or 2 if the water's not moving. 4, maybe even 6 if you're fishing in like the Jupiter Inlet. Like there's another video under beach fishing where I did in Jupiter, Florida. You need your Texas style bullet weights if you're fishing a Texas rig worm. Gotta have that. It's like rudimentary. And then you have to have your hooks. Now, if you're fishing saltwater, particularly for striped bass, I would like to promote that you use circle hooks because there's less of a chance that you'll gut hook or hook in the gills a fish. About 80, maybe 90% of the time, because of the way it's shaped, the hook is actually below the, let me show you. Instead of the hook being above the eyelet here, it's below. So the line in the eyelet actually travels above it, and it always slides under any obstruction when it's inside the mouth. But not till it hits the edge does it fall in and then go like this, which allows it to get caught on the lip. And that's why circle hooks are so good, because you're able to properly hook a fish safely. And if you don't plan on taking it home, or you don't like trying to get out a gut hook, which I have a special device to get it out of the fish, but sometimes it's too late anyway. If you can prevent that, then if you're just fishing for fun, catch and release, like there's a Striper Fest here they do every year for a couple months, and they promote it as well. You can release the fish, and the survival rate of striped bass will increase greatly. There's been a decline around here, and I think down south too, in Virginia, maybe all on the southern seaboard, I mean the eastern seaboard, striped bass amounts has gone down. And people believe that it's because they're dying, they're being kept too much, or the hooks are hooking them incorrectly and people are letting them go without knowing they're going to die anyway. They'll be food for a shark or something, but it happens. And for striped bass, you really can't go wrong with a little minnow 6-inch kind of minnow type lure. It's pretty thick. It's about a 1/2 inch or less, or a quarter. I think it's a half. About a 1/2 inch thick. And I usually have like a 1 or 2 ounce jig head on there. There's many kinds. This is like almost. Let's hook myself a little bit. This is like the exact lure I've used since I was a kid. Like, I'm talking 11 years old. Catch the small ones, you catch the big ones. Doesn't matter. They love it. It's very good. I don't see too many people using these around here. They use a lot of tube lures. They use a lot of topwater action stuff. There's some flies. But if you go through my other videos, you'll see me going into my tackle box and showing all my different lures and all different types. I'll point you toward that in the bottom of the video, in the description below. You can also subscribe if you want to get more of this information, or leave a comment if you have some questions. But those are the gears you need. Now, think about what else you need. Let's look at the old video screen here. You've probably seen the same 3 or 4 things happen now for the last 19 minutes. I know it's a little long, but hey, here's some information to go through. So right here is the Massachusetts government's place to get freshwater fishing licenses, but you can get your other licenses here too. Yeah, get logged in. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, freshwater is always going to be more expensive than saltwater. Why? I don't know. But I guess there's more places to fish freshwater, and they have to deal with clean up all those little places here, 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 instead of just the ocean. So you'll find that it's maybe 25, maybe even 50% more expensive to get a freshwater fishing license than a saltwater. I get both. The saltwater here is $10. The freshwater is $27.50. It's been going up steadily every year or two. But it's a very small fee for an annual license, and you don't have to worry about the wildlife fishing game person sneaking up behind you and giving you a $150 or $300 ticket, and it will always be on the day that you didn't catch anything. Always. If you're looking for lures and gear and whatever else online, the big place for freshwater fishing and probably salt too for some people is the Bass Pro Shops. There is one near me at in right next to the Gillette Stadium, which is where the New England Patriots play. And I plan on going there very soon to take my family, have a little day of it. I'll get some cool stuff. I'll take some pictures of some cool things. I'll take some videos. I'll meet some people. I'll see what's happening. What's the best cool thing for 2009? Every new year they have to throw in a gimmick, make it shinier, make it have one more ball bearing, make it have a different surface on it, different colors, whatever else. But things don't change too much. There isn't too much innovation. One of the places where I see a lot of talk of innovation is with fishing line. So their advertising and marketing is quite good. Talking about the smoothness, the softness, the long casting power, everything that they could possibly say to make it look better than their competitor when they're probably pretty close. But hey, if it looks cooler, we always buy with our eyes. I say you should try not to do that because it will probably steer you in the wrong way. But if that box looks cool to you, buy the box. You should really focus on what you need for what you're fishing on, whether it be a little panfish, a larger bass, a pike, or some saltwater fishing. You're trying to catch like a striper coming into shore or whatever else. Maybe a black tip shark down in Florida. This is a good place. Also, for minnow type lures, I really like Rapala. I've been using them since I started. Really, like a high quality minnow bait. Yeah, I don't think you can top Rapala. They are the best. I believe they own a lot of other places too. As you see, there are some other businesses here that you thought weren't affiliated with Rapala brand, but they are, like Suffix, Storm, Lord Jensen, Blue Fox. I've heard of Terminator. I haven't used it myself. There's Williamson, the Strike Master Augers, which I wish I had one now. There's some others like this, but you really go wrong for Rapala lure. They have Rapala lure for everything. Every type of bait, every type of style, weighted, floating, mid-range, the fat wrap ones, the lipless ones, deep, cranking ones with joints in them, ones are shiny, ones are wood, ones are a balsam type of wood. This goes on and on. So you really want to look for some high quality lures to get you started when you're doing a fishing hobby, because everybody likes having the best stuff. It's Rapala. And one last thing. So, I live in Watertown. It's a cool area around here, and you see here's the Charles River, and look, lo and behold, it's Harvard. Harvard University. And what's over here? Oh my God, it's MIT. Smart people everywhere. And guess what's over here? Can't see it. It's right there. BU. And look at this. It's Northeastern. How many cool colleges are around here? I'm not going to go through all of them, except, oh, there's another one, Boston College. Wow, impressive. But when you go through your local area, you should take up the Google Maps and really just look through it and see where you can fish at. What distance are you willing to travel from your home or from your job if you want to go fishing? It's very important to do this before, otherwise you'll find yourself talking yourself out of it. Oh, I can't make over there. Oh, I heard there was cool fishing over in this loop here at Castle Island because it has inlets right here and right here. You like how I do that? Yeah, I knew that already. And I've been here at the beach. There's a nice little place here where you can get some ice cream and some seafood. Sullivan's um, Castle Island shop here. There you go, seafood, burger shack, and delicious ice cream. And you can sit here on the beach. And it's windy as hell here. There's a little pier here that barely goes out into the water. The water, when the tide's low, it's almost like beached. But it's a good. But over here, these inlets are great. But they can get really windy. It's better if you're in a boat. But people catch striped bass off this thing all the time. But if you can't get over there, you don't think you can get over there, you'll talk yourself out of it. But I did my research, and I can get over here. You know, boom. I could ride my bike, I could take an Uber, I can take public transportation, and I can get there in like 15 to 20 minutes. It's kind of shocking how fast I can get there. Even though it looks like a pretty far away. But this would only happen, one, when it's warm. Right now, when it's cold, I can't go too far. And I find myself over here, the Broad Canal, a lot because, one, it's deep right here. Most of the river, except for right here, is under 10 feet. Here, right next to the ocean, it drops down to 25 to 30 feet and some holes here. Otherwise, it's shallow. And right here in this lagoon, I fish a lot because it's super close to my job, just like everybody else's job, because we all work right here or over here too. But mostly this is Boston, the Boston downtown Boston. I haven't gone to this Museum of Science place, but you know, you might drift here. If you're out here, middle of nowhere. It's not middle of nowhere, but Worcester's pretty cool. There's like a reservoir here. Awesome fishing. Awesome. But look at the amount of space you have to travel. Where the best places to go, where's the best, cover, we're talking about man-made structure and stuff, or maybe natural structure. You need to find out where that stuff is, and you're going to learn that if you go to a fishing shop. So I really promote that. But when it comes to how to start a fishing hobby, you have to think about what you want to do and when you want to do it. Do you want to start today? Cool. You just need those things I talked about, and you can move forward with your hobby and try things out little by little. And when you have more time, you can spend more time doing research and then going out there and trying it out. Doing research and then doing nothing doesn't constitute as a hobby. It constitutes as research. So if you're not out there actually doing what you want to do and figuring out if you like it, maybe you don't like it, maybe you love it, then how will you know? So whatever you plan to do, whether it's fishing as a hobby, or golf as a hobby, or bowling as a hobby, or collecting cards, or what crazy weird thing could I think of? You know what, I'm not going to do that. But if you have a hobby that you want to really get into, do the research, just like you are now in this video. Find an expert who can really get you down to the basics and get you started. So if you've been wondering about how to do your hobby before you retire, I have a nice cool thing here on fishingatwork.com. Right on the webpage, you can get your 10-step process to go fishing at work PDF. Right here, all you have to do is click this button, fill in your email address, and it'll be sent straight to your email. And it's quick, it's easy, it's bare bones, it's everything you need. And some cool videos here about me. But I also have a how to catch more bass. If you're really interested in bass, you can click here, do the same thing, click on that, put in your email address, and you'll get this 45-page document full of tips, tricks, techniques, how to fish for bigger and more largemouth and some smallmouth bass as well. In the coming months, I think it's going to take that long, I'm building a course that will really go into detail about the 10-step process, go fishing at work, and get into all that nitty-gritty I talked about in the beginning, giving you the ability to do your fishing hobby more often and be happier if you realize that fishing is not just a hobby, but is a love. So, this is Dwight Norris, Fishing at Work, telling you to go fishing. Go down below, subscribe, write a comment, go to the website, go to my blog, write a comment there, consume the information, learn, and then do. And doing is fishing.
Let's go.